My recommended budget actually anticipated
language skills and appreciation over the years.
The City of Arvada has been very fortunate. The IT staff has had great success with the technologies they implement for their customers, and we've had great adoption rates for the customers that use those technologies. We've had a little less than a 1% turnover rate in the IT department for 10 years. What that allows us to do is to connect with the customers and make sure that we're getting the right things in their hands and trying to be more effective and efficient with technologies. So we've been able to implement technologies like CopLink, for example, and that's a software that allows the police department to connect to databases across Jefferson County and Broomfield to get information on records on different individuals that may come across through the county. So that's one example of how we're able to collaborate, use technology, and get a little bit ahead of the curve. While I don't think it's important to put Arvada on the map just for award's sake, I think it is important to make sure that we are setting the bar high, that we are being effective and efficient with the use of our technology, and that we get the fastest service possible for our citizens out there on the street, or customers that walk in, or people who come through our website or phone us. The IT staff is a great bunch of people. They have varying degrees of knowledge and technology, but they bring their passion to the table every day, which is great. So they see something, they see a solution, and they'll work directly with the customer, try and get that in the customer's hands so they can utilize that technology. Our customers are great too because they really utilize the technology that they purchase, so they truly try and get the best value, the best efficiencies. An example of that really is the project we're working on right now. We're integrating the court system and the police systems, and so that we don't have to worry about double entry, and so ultimately that's a savings on taxpayer dollars. We're saving time and resources where we can use those resources in other places, perhaps not on technology, but perhaps for service for the citizens. While I was singled out on the list, I understand that it's a collaboration not only amongst my staff in IT, but also the customers we have here, the citizens of Arvada, but also my peers. I have great peers in Colorado. We have decided that it doesn't make sense for us to have technology and only use it in Arvada in our own backyard. What we'd really like to do is make sure if we have the resources, why do we all have to have an email system? Why do we all have to have a separate police system? Why can't we start sharing those resources? Why can't we start utilizing those and being more efficient and effective? So I've got great partners across the state. I belong to a group called Government Shared Services Council, and it's part of a larger group called Colorado Government Association of Information Technology. It's my peers from across the state of Colorado, and we've decided to get together and try and see how we can provide technology more efficiently and effectively, and we truly believe there's synergy. And so I think the value of the award, or recognizing the efforts that have taken place across Colorado, I've helped to drive those things. I'm vice chair of both those organizations, but I think it's the collective energy of the whole group that really makes a success for everyone. The Doers, Dreamers, and Drivers Award really goes out and recognizes people that are trying to do things differently. And again, because my peers and myself in Colorado are trying to do things differently than we've done for the last 10 years, I think we're looking at the larger cities like San Francisco, like Washington, D.C., and we're trying to figure out what we can learn from them. What are the lessons learned, and how can we do things like they're doing? There's an example of some technology that we're using. It's called an open data initiative. So what we're trying to do is take the data that we have in the city of Arvada, which is really the people's data, and put it on our website. And what that means is we could put snow routes information, we could put information on crime statistics, we could put information on our financials. And so the value of that is what we're seeing across the nation that we're trying to mimic. In Washington, D.C., for example, they created a program called Apps for Democracy. They opened up their data, they put it on their website. They weren't sure what the data would be of value for, but what's happened, just like you see on an iPhone, Apple created the iPhone. They didn't create 150,000 applications that were put on that iPhone. People from around the country, around the world put those on, and that's what we're seeing from the larger entities. Applications being built on this government data for the citizens for information that they need in their everyday lives. I think it's important to be active for several reasons. For years we've been active in Seagate because of the lessons learned. Could be that Golden is ahead of us on a project that they just implemented that we're gearing up to implement. It makes sense to talk to them, to see what they learned, to see what vendors they talk to see what their cost savings were and what they do differently perhaps next time. And so the value of Seagate over time has been being able to do those lessons learned and not reinvent the wheel. The value, I think, now is in the shared services. I think it's allowing us to figure out ways, how can we share an Oracle application? How can we share websites? How can we share our open data initiatives across the state? So ultimately, the citizens have an experience that they can go to one site and have the same experience in Arvada as they would in Lakewood, as they would in other places. And so I think the value really is coming together, trying to be more effective and efficient, especially in this economy. We need to figure out how to reduce our budgets. Technology budgets can be big. Technology is not cheap. But what we've done, at least internally in Arvada, is we've gone through our budgets, and last year we eliminated over $250,000 in one of our technology budgets, saving in our 5-year model over $1 million. And so I think there's ways of doing this because we're able to share and collaborate across geographic boundaries. The Top 10 Digital Cities Award is from the Center for Digital Government, which is a subsidiary of Government Technology Magazine. But what's interesting, again, is that it has a survey questions of about 40 to 50 questions that we fill out, essay and multiple choice. But what it does is it benchmarks where we're at against the nation. What kind of online services do we provide compared to the rest of the nation? What kind of management do we provide internally? What kind of budgeting do we do? So I think it provides for a level of best practices, and so it allows us to set the bar. And so we've been part of the Digital Cities for the last 7 years. We've won the last 6 years, and last year we placed second. And so it was really exciting to think for a city of Arvada's size that we could be second in the nation. Only Santa Monica, California beat us this year. So we're hoping, it's awarded at the National League of Cities every year, and it's in Denver, National League of Cities is in Denver this year, so we're really hoping for first place, but we'll see. Again, we're not in it for the placing of the awards, we're in it to make sure that we're doing the right things with the citizens' resources that we have. Well, the future's changing. Normally, in the traditional IT environment, as we've had for the past 10 years, the IT department silently goes around and provides internal support for applications, software, as well as hardware, radio systems, connectivity, phone lines, all of those things. But I think what we're seeing in the future is we're going to be able to provide those services differently. So I'm seeing a lot of online services becoming available for us to use. We actually use cloud services. And in the cloud or the World Wide Web, we have services like our HR Smart system, and that's a recruiting system that we use. Our award-winning Ask Arvada system is actually hosted in San Francisco, so it's not even here on one of our servers. And so what we're seeing is that we are truly becoming a service provider for technology. It may be that we provide the technology in-house, but it also means that we probably will be looking to partners, neighboring cities, or in the cloud to provide the same services. We have over 300 applications on our network, so we have to support things from 911 police systems to golf course tee times to ticketing at the Arvada Center to roof permits to all the different types of businesses that happen around the city. And with the resources we have in IT, I just know those resources are not going to increase, so I need to figure out how to do it differently. So I think technology is going to change, and the nice thing is the resources that I do have, both with money and staff, I think we'll be able to reallocate those and use those in new and better ways.